Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. Today I'm going to talk about something that I used to do in the insurance business, and I decided that it works in the investment business too. When I was in the insurance business, and people would tell me, go in and sell this item or this, And one day it occurred to me, if people trust me enough to buy one policy from me, they ought to trust me enough to buy two or three. So my goal was never to go in and sell just one policy. My goal was always to sell at least two. And it worked. I was the youngest person to get their statement, is what it's called, get their statement paid down, and to receive a check each and every month from my statement. And I did that in about 6 months after I made this decision, which is unheard of. It usually takes several years. But it worked. So when I started investing, my goal at the time was to buy one rental house and my duplex. And through just a lot of experience and prayer, we've come a long way. We now have 2 little rental houses, and we're getting ready to buy our 3rd. And we've got some other assets. Now, the period of time, I just did a video on this, and the period of time between the time you get your debts paid off and you reach financial independence is a time that I call accumulating assets. And the only guaranteed way to do that is through real estate. There's other ways to do it, don't get me wrong. But the only tried and true way is through the accumulation of real estate. So, we accumulated real estate. But I discovered something along the way. And I kind of learned it on accident. It's the same concept. If I'm going to buy one asset, why not buy 2 or 3? So let me tell you what we did. The first asset that I bought, once I got my credit cards all paid off and all my expenses done, was I started doing cash back on a credit card. And I opened a mutual fund and started, every time I got $500 on a cash back credit card, I put it in the mutual fund. And why 500? Because that was the minimum. And I did that on purpose. So we had that one going, and then we just, then we started real estate. And so the real estate, we bought one little rental house. And I thought, at the time, I still had 7 or 8 years, 6, 7, 8 years, however long it was, till I wanted to buy my duplex. So I thought, what if I take a couple $100 and put it into the market? And I got that idea from watching some millennial money guys on YouTube, because they all had a couple of things in common. They all started with real estate, and they were all in the market. Now, I tells myself, that ain't no accident. But if I wanted to put my money towards real estate, how was I going to afford to be able to do that towards the market? So I decided this is how we would do it. For each property that we bought, and this is how I did it up until last month, we would take the cash flow from the real estate and put it into the market. Now, after just 2 houses, we were putting in $800 a month into the market, which was good. But then I started thinking about, well, if I buy another house, that means I'm going to be putting in $1,200 a month into the market. And that kind of, I mean, it's all percentages and it's all math, and I get it, but I just felt like it was an awfully big step, especially since I wanted to increase the amount I was saving. So what we did, and I think we're going to do this for a period of time. I don't know the period of time. But we're going to start taking that cash flow and just putting it right into the savings account. And we're going to leave the market alone for a while, because we've got about, I don't know, $10,000 or $12,000 sitting in the market right now. And we were dollar cost averaging. But my point is, with saving for one asset, we were building 2 assets at the same time. We had the real estate, and the real estate was paying for the market. Now, how were we saving for real estate? We were still saving the same amount. The problem with that is, from my standpoint, I can only save X amount of dollars because I don't make a lot. So instead of putting the money in the market, or all of it anyway, I think we're going to go back to the market, but I think we're only going to take maybe half of the cash flow and put in the market, and the other half we're going to put into cash. And because now that instead of 6, 7, or 8 years, I've got 4 or 5 years. And in the next 4 or 5 years, I've got 2 more houses to buy, one for cash and one to pay off. And then go shopping for a duplex. So I'm going to need a good amount of cash on hand, and I can get there, but I can't get there and build as fast in my assets. But the logic is still sound, and if I were younger, by even 5 or 10 years, I would do that. I would build multiple assets at the same time with one asset. So I would buy the real estate. I would take a percentage, whether it's $100 or half, but a set percentage each month from the cash flow, and I would go buy another asset, whether you put it in the market or you put it in an S&P 500 index fund or a mutual fund, but I would build out another asset. That way, because it's really not your money, I mean it is technically, but it's income being produced by an asset. So you're using one asset to build another asset. Now, it will take a little bit longer, but if you're younger and you've got the time, I would do that. That way, if the real estate market crashes, you've still got your other asset that can grow and build, and vice versa. That's smarter than putting all of your eggs in one basket. And I realized that when I knew that the market was getting ready to crash, and I pulled cash out of the mutual fund. I pulled a little under $20,000 out, and I stuck it in savings. Now, did I sacrifice a little investment? Yes, but my cash is safe, and I have the money sitting there to go buy the next piece of real estate. The market is so tight right now, there's nothing out there to buy. But I got my realtor looking, we'll find something. But the point is, if you can build one asset, you can build 2 assets. You just take the cash flow from the real estate and buy your second investment. It might slow you down a little bit, but you're using one to build the other, and that's how wealth is built. Now, once I retire, I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to take half of the cash flow, put it into savings, the rest of it, put it into the market. By that time, we ought to have 6 or 7 income producing properties. That ought to be $1,200, $1,500 a month into the market and $1,200, $1,500 in my pocket, just off of the properties. And I might try to do another asset. But as I have explained in other videos, that's the difference between saving money and building wealth. Saving money depends on you performing. Building wealth depends on your assets performing. And if you limit their performance, you're limiting your building of wealth. So use your cash flow, use it smartly, but you can build 2 or even 3 different asset classes. Now, I'm thinking a step ahead here, but for each property, we are going to have $10,000 in an account for each property to take care of emergencies. After that, we're going to take the cash flow from each property, put it into an investment account, and that investment account will be funding 1 or 2 or 3 more asset classes. One will be the market, one will be a S&P 500 index fund, and I don't know what the third one will be, or if there will be a third one. But we will be using our assets to build and grow more assets. And that's how wealth is built. That's all I wanted to say. You guys have a great day and a great week, and happy investing.